June 7th, 1945. Dawn breaks over a ruined village near Leipzig. 22 German women huddle behind a crumbling wall, certain they will die. Years of propaganda have taught them to expect bullets, not mercy, from the approaching American trucks. The air smells of smoke, diesel and damp straw. A distant bell tolls. The women grip each other's hands, bracing for execution. Instead of gunfire, they hear crates unloading and calm voices giving orders in English. American soldiers arrive not with bayonets, but with food. Hot soup, fresh bread and steady hands replace the terror the women had prepared for. Confusion spreads. This is not how enemies were supposed to behave. At the nearby holding camp, frost covers the ground. 23 prisoners stand behind wire fencing, expecting sunrise to bring death. Rumors of executions and sharpened bayonets fed their fear through the night. German propaganda had painted Americans as savage and cruel. Behind the fence, imagination turns shadows into threats. None of the rumors are true, but fear thrives in darkness and uncertainty. Inside the American kitchen, cooks prepare breakfast as usual. Eggs, bread and coffee fill the air with warmth. The routine feels ordinary to them, but for the prisoners it will change everything. When guards unlock the gate, several women close their eyes, expecting the worst. Instead, they are calmly motioned forward. The tone is firm but not harsh. Confusion replaces terror. The smell of bread stops them mid-step. Inside the mess tent, trays are filled with scrambled eggs and hot coffee. Hands tremble as prisoners accept food, still waiting for cruelty that never comes. One young cook later recalls that the women looked like frightened children. He simply wanted to feed them. No insults, no threats, only quiet routine and human decency. As they eat, fear slowly loosens its grip. Salted eggs and warm bread taste like survival. In one morning, everything they believed about their enemy begins to crack. Hey dear, you have to follow us now so you get more of our World War II stories we document. Help us hit our target of 10K followers before the end of this month. Also, don't forget to like and share to your friends too. Now let's continue our video. Leaving the tent, their bodies are warmer but their minds unsettled. Only hours ago they expected violence. Now they struggle to understand a kindness that feels almost unreal. An American sergeant counts them with calm efficiency, marking numbers on a clipboard. Order and routine replace chaos. There is no hatred in his eyes, only duty. For months they endured collapsing fronts and harsh commanders. Here, captivity feels steadier than freedom had. One former nurse whispers that this prison seems kinder than what they left behind. Assigned light work, sorting cloth and tools, they brace for shouting. Instead, guards quietly demonstrate tasks. Mistakes bring correction, not punishment. A young prisoner notices the difference. Americans guide them like teachers, not masters. The contrast with their own officers is painful and impossible to ignore. As fog lifts, camp sounds grow clearer. Trucks hum, generators buzz, English voices drift through the air. The world is still at war, but inside the fence, routine almost feels peaceful. A private tries simple English words, pointing at objects. Hesitant at first, the women respond. Small laughter breaks the silence, the first many have heard in months. The laughter feels dangerous yet freeing. They begin to realize the Americans do not hate them personally. They are soldiers doing a job, not monsters. During a work break, a soldier leaves apples on their table without speaking. The fruit feels precious, almost sacred, in a land stripped by war. Holding the apples, the women feel their fear transform into cautious respect. The enemy feeds them again, not out of necessity, but simple humanity. Later, they are led to a large supply tent. Mud clings to their boots as curiosity replaces dread. They still question whether the kindness is temporary or something deeper. Inside, crates of food, flour, bandages and clothing rise in neat stacks. The abundance shocks them. In Germany, even soap and shoes had become rare. Through a translator, a captain calmly explains their task: sort and clean supplies. No threats, just instructions. The women nod, surprised they are treated with clarity and respect. When a crate spills bandages across the floor, no one is punished. Soldiers kneel and gather them quietly. The women join in, stunned by the lack of anger. One prisoner remembers German officers shouting and striking workers during evacuations. Now she watches an American sergeant gently steady a crate so it will not fall again. At noon, they rest under a warmer sun. A soldier offers chewing gum to a hesitant woman. She tastes mint for the first time, startled by both flavor and kindness. The soldier laughs softly at her reaction. Not mockery, just shared amusement. Such small moments chip away at years of fear. That afternoon, they are told a medic will examine anyone unwell. The idea feels impossible. Care from captors contradicts everything they expected. In the medical tent, cuts are cleaned, fevers treated, and bandages applied with quiet professionalism. No accusations, no humiliation, only steady hands. By evening, a new question forms in their minds. If their beliefs about Americans were wrong, what else had they misunderstood about the war? The next morning, fog drifts softly across the camp. Though fear has faded, trust is still fragile. The women wait for instructions, unsure what the new day will reveal. They are assigned to the laundry yard. Barrels of water, long drying lines, and stacks of uniforms fill the space. The smell of soap replaces the scent of smoke. Expecting harsh labor, they brace themselves. Instead, tasks are divided fairly. A sergeant demonstrates calmly, correcting gently without raising his voice. They notice American soldiers clean their own uniforms too. Even officers behave like ordinary men. The sense of hierarchy feels softer, less cruel. Clean drinking water is offered freely during their break. In bombed German towns, such basic needs had become uncertain. Here, there is enough for everyone. A soldier quietly leaves half a sandwich for an older prisoner. She bites into soft bread and fresh cheese, fighting tears she cannot explain. As they fold sturdy uniforms, they feel the difference in quality. German supplies had grown thin and fragile. American fabric feels strong and plentiful. An afternoon medic checks pulses and hands out medicine without hesitation. Again, care replaces neglect. The women stand stunned by the simple dignity shown to them. Walking back at sunset, they watch the sky turn gold. The camp feels calmer than the world beyond its fences. Their fear is no longer dominant. They begin to see that the Americans do not only fight differently, they organize differently, lead differently, and treat even enemies with structure and restraint. Clear skies greet the next day. The women move with steadier steps as they're assigned to the busy supply depot, where trucks rumble and crates tower high. A sergeant patiently teaches them to count, label, and sort tools. When mistakes happen, he corrects them calmly. No shouting follows, only quiet instruction. They observe the depot's order, every box labeled, every item tracked. The efficiency amazes them, far from the chaos they witnessed in collapsing German lines. Engineers spread maps across a table, discussing routes and bridges with measured voices. Planning replaces panic. Nothing appears left to chance. At lunch, warm soup and bread are served again. The steady meals highlight how little they had eaten during Germany's final desperate months. When a private drops tools, two prisoners help gather them. He smiles and thanks them. The shared gesture quietly dissolves another layer of division. Later, through the translator, they hear praise for their work. The word good feels unfamiliar. Recognition from captors unsettles yet warms them. Some are told they will assist at the communications tent. The assignment signals trust. The idea that the enemy relies on them challenges old beliefs. They walk back in thoughtful silence. It feels like waking from a dark dream into a world shaped by order, not hatred. In a shattered land, kindness reshaped their understanding. What began as terror ended in reflection. The enemy they feared became proof that humanity can survive even after war.